Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright. So, it was a good day, man. Ultimately, it all panned out pretty well. The thing that we were trying to accomplish, I think we accomplished much better than I anticipated. Especially when I went to sleep last night. I didn't really have all my ducks lined up in a row the way I wanted it to, as it pertains to having a certain area in Los Angeles that we were going to drive around in, try to have apartment tours lined up in those specific areas, in a specific vicinity at certain times, you know what I mean, so that they would be in sequence that made a lot of sense. Last night when I went to sleep, I didn't have that lined up. Somehow today I was able to get all that lined up not too long, basically after I had finished the video. After I got up to after I got to Hollywood, I already had one lined up, and the others just kind of fell into place. And I knew it would, because I had put a lot of prayer into that. I prayed a lot of prayers, and this is what I've learned to do, is pray certain prayers that are centered around not only your interest, but the interest of the parties involved. And when you hit every one of those targets as it pertains to your prayer, you corner the devil out of your circumstance in multiple areas. And I've been trying to pray in that regard lately for people's other interests, people, other characters in the story, so to speak. So what's best for my uncle's timing, what's best for his wife's timing in regards to what she has going on, what's best for myself, what's best for those who are affected by my energy. And as I try my best to target all of that, it corners you into a space where certain things going to work out, because they ain't got nothing to do with you, or ain't gonna have nothing to do with what you're focused on, but because you asked that it would work for somebody else, and your timing aligns with what it is that works for them. So I was praying all types of prayers like that this morning. I was like, Lord, and last night before I went to sleep, I'm like, man, I want to be in the right mindset, and I want things to line up abnormally well, so that we can get this done in a very impressive way, so that my uncle can see me as a very organized human being, even though that's not who I am. This was not something I normally do. This is not something I've ever had to do, to where I set up appointments in a certain area and hit all of those targets in a certain amount of time. We were able to go to, we had 5 different appointments set up. And the first appointment, we were able to hit it right on time. I think we got there 10 minutes before the lady got there, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm looking at this correctly. No, the first place we went to was a place called, I think it was Gramercy. I forget the name of it, forgive me. But we hit one spot and we got there late. And that was because I had set it up before I knew how far I would have to track without a vehicle. So that's what I was complaining about this morning on the video that you saw previously. And I had set one up for 11:30, but it was because I thought my uncle was picking me up from here, which would allow for us to get there on time. But we got there. The funny thing was, I got there at 11:17, but my uncle didn't get there until like 11:45, 11:50. So I couldn't actually go in and start the tour with them people without him, because he's a big part of obviously what we're doing here. So by the time we got there, we went inside, talked to the folks. The guy at the front desk called himself "Don't Scold Me," but my thing was, and although I didn't word this because it wasn't as relevant, but it still stood, and I called him at 11:17 and told him that I was an hour away, even though my appointment was at 11:30. I said, okay, I'm about an hour out. He said, okay, hung up the phone. When I get there and I talked to him, he's like, your appointment was at 11:30. You didn't show up on time. I was like, I understand that. like, what are you doing? You plan on scolding me for being late? I'm certainly not about to throw my uncle under the bus and say, well, I'm only late because this man didn't get here on time. But what do you want me to say? I know I'm late. You know I'm late. Why are you telling me I'm late? This ain't school. This ain't class. He was like, you got to talk to the lady right next to us. She's the person you want to talk to, and she's talking to somebody. I clearly see she's talking to someone because I'm standing next to her. So I didn't get off on a good foot with that dude. But because I was in front of my uncle, I just played it really, I played stupid, like I didn't understand that this moron was trying to son me. And the sick thing about it is he's a brother, right? It's a black dude in a white environment, so he had to son the brother. It's like, man, if you don't get out of my face, bro, like seriously. So his energy was already like sarcastic and condescending, but he didn't actually do his job, because if he did, he would understand that the person who had aligned themselves to be there at 11:30 had already told you that they were going to be late by almost an hour. I had already told him that. So, and he was the one I spoke to too. That was the part that pissed me off. Like, bro, I already talked to you. If it was going to be a problem, you should have said that over the phone, because I let you know that I was going to be there a little late. I told you exactly what my ETA was too. So it was one of those situations where he was like, man, I just walked away from it. I said, I understand that, thank you, and I walked away from his desk. I wasn't about to get into no type of I wasn't about to explain myself to this dude or anything like that. But my uncle followed up and it communicated with him, broke the ice a little bit or whatever. And eventually we sat down, waited for her to finish her conversation. And from there, the lady said, well, I have another appointment at 12. We were supposed to meet at 11:30, but I can't fill you in right now because whatever. We're like, okay, that's cool, because we have other things, other people we have to get to as well. We will come back and reconvene with you at 2. So we went and left that place, went to the first place, which is across the street from KTTV Los Angeles on Sunset. Y'all often see me walk past it. It's like literally down the street past that place on Sunset. And so we went there, waited for like, we had like 20 minutes layover. I think we got there maybe 15 minutes early. And so I called the lady. She was essentially saying she's not on property. She was going to be there on time. So we waited around. We stood out there and talked, me and my uncle. And then she pulled up eventually. And when she did, she gave me, I didn't know who was who, right? I don't know who I'm looking for. She gave me the evilest scowl from within her car. And I already knew what we were in for. I knew it was her. My instincts told me it was her. And I knew it was going to be a problem. So I'm like, all right. Before she even got out the car, I already knew she wasn't feeling us. So eventually we got to this situation where we got up there and communicate with her. She refused to shake our hand. She refused to shake my uncle's hand. So I already knew, I was like, all right, it's one of those. She showed us the apartment. The apartment was actually pretty nice. I like the interior, very spacious. It was within our budget. But we weren't about to rip from her. I wasn't about to be dealing with her, and neither was my uncle. So we both agreed to, like, yeah, nah, she's obviously not interested in our service. So we looked at it, left, went back to the other place. Made it on time. Actually, we got there much earlier because the time with this particular lady didn't last very long. We were there, we looked, we left. So it allowed for us to double back and be where we needed to be to meet up with the lady we were initially late for. So we sat down, came in, and everything. Eventually, she was able to get us. And since we were early, she didn't have an appointment at that hour, so we were able to get in with her early, go up, view about 3 different units in that building. And that was a building that we really liked. My uncle liked it, I liked it. I didn't think the quarters were big enough for me. The rooms are even smaller than what it is I got over here, studio, but the amenities were really good. And it's an old hotel building. It's literally right next to the Hollywood and Hollywood and Western Station. So it's right over there where I like to often walk. And over there by Norm's and by this Marshalls. It's right next door to the Marshalls. If you guys know the Hollywood area, or if you ever seen me walk over there, it's a place I've recorded quite a bit, walking past that and all that. So either way, we were able to kind of get in there and get some history on that building. It's over 100 years old. It used to be a hotel. They turned it into an apartment building, and they had 24-hour gym, pretty spacious laundry room. The only problem, it was a couple problems I had with it though. For me, I didn't like that they didn't have a large refrigerator. They have one of those mini fridges, and while I had a mini fridge at Lennox for a long time, they don't actually allow you to install your own refrigerator, and it doesn't have a stove. So what you end up having is you got somewhere to light up your skillet or whatever. They got the stove top, and they got a microwave, but no stove, and a tiny fridge. So as soon as I seen the tiny fridge, I know how I like to eat, I know how I like to cook. I already need more storage space. Just for how I eat over here, I know I need more storage space. It was like, and the bathroom was tiny. When I say tiny, like you could barely fit in there. If you're a bigger person, you're gonna end up touching the toilet with your knee and hitting your elbow with the sink. Like, that's how small it was in there. So that wasn't, like, the first unit they showed me had that kind of setup. I wasn't going for that. But the second unit she showed us was probably the unit that was better. It was pretty much the same size, a bigger bathroom, same setup with the mini stove type thing, and the room was facing the street area, so you can actually look out and see something rather than a wall like the other room. So that was a room that was pretty good. And then she showed me a third room that gave me a good vibe. I felt a good vibe, but when you look out the window, you're looking at a wall. Bathroom was kind of small. You're on the third floor, kind of dim in there. It had a good vibe to it, but it wasn't. I thought that the second unit that she showed me was the best one. I think that was 511 or something like that. Best unit that she showed me within our price range. But my thinking was, if we're gonna be within our budget, I don't even have a stove. I don't have a fridge. Like, this is not what we have to settle for. You feel me? That was my thinking. My uncle, however, he was like, yo, I like the people here. He liked the lady. She was really kind and personable and bubbly with him. They got off to a good rapport. And so he was happy with her. He liked the gym, and he liked the laundry room. And so he was like, yeah, man, I think this is the one you should probably consider. And it's close to the train station, so there's a lot of different things that checked his boxes. But at the end of the day, for me, I just thought it was a little too small. Like, it was too small, man. And I'm comfortable in a single or a bachelor pad, but that was a bit tiny. For $1,200, that was a bit tiny, man, like real tiny. So that was my thinking. I'm like, yeah, they got a lot of things that check my boxes too, but some of the most important part of it is making sure that I'm comfortable in the unit. And that unit was a little too small. All three of them units were a little too small, but ultimately we still had one more unit to check out in a different place. So actually two more. So we went to another place, sat out there for like 30 minutes. We got there early once again, and it was right next door to where my friend grew, not to say grew up, but during my teenage years, it was an apartment right next door to the one I applied at that we used to hang out with when I was a kid. So it was like going back home basically for me in that unit. But we sat out there for like 35 minutes or whatever, waited for a certain time for which we were scheduled to be there. And it was a mix-up, man. It turned out that the dude that supposed to be interviewing us, he didn't get my confirmation. Now, I don't know if it was my fault for not fully confirming. I thought I had done everything I needed to do to confirm through the email that was sent to me that I would be there at 2:30 and that we could, we can meet up. I know he was off site. And so I initially, when I got there, I called him and nobody answered the phone. That was a red flag, like, yo, what the heck? But we gave it some more time. We waited till about 2:30. Saw somebody parked across the street where we were hoping to be at. Kind of went over to the car to see if that person was the person we were supposed to be interviewing. He wasn't there. That wasn't that person. So I gave a call to the number again. The guy picked up and it pretty much told me that he never got my confirmation and ultimately wasn't going to be there for about an hour. So if we wanted to reconvene, we could meet up with him, or otherwise he was sorry. He just didn't get the confirmation. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not really sure if it was my fault or not. So I apologize to my uncle, charged it to the game. We didn't wait there necessarily for much of anything, but we did bond really good in that conversation in a little 35, 45 minute period. So that was really good for that reason. And then we jetted off to the next place where we had an appointment at 2:50. So we went to the second place, or the third place we were actually able to view, the fifth place we had scheduled. And I thought that was that was my favorite place, to be honest with you. It was my favorite because the room was spacious. It fit well with under the budget. They had the stove, they had the fridge, they had the AC. Everything that I had checked off on my boxes of most important, it had. But what did it not have? Amenities. It didn't have no gym. It didn't have no laundry room. And I think that was the deal breaker for me and my uncle both. He was like, yo, did you see a laundry room in here? I'm like, nah. He was like, we got to do laundry off site. I'm like, yeah, I'm not signing up for that. Plus, it was a few small things, like they didn't have an elevator despite having 3 floors, and I was gonna be on the 3rd floor. I don't mind climbing steps, but permanently, you never know. I might get injured, something could happen. And now I'm climbing steps to get upstairs. That's crazy. Anytime I bring any furniture in, they got to climb up steps. That's crazy. So that was one problem. And the second problem was how they handle packages, man. They don't allow packages to come to your door. They leave them on a table out for everybody to sort through. So anybody could come by and steal anybody's packages. They don't even put like Amazon packages and stuff like that. Don't even go to your door. They don't put in like a lockup seal like the other place did with all the amenities. They got like the new age lockers where, you know, you can't. They don't even have a handle on it. You got to go through the electronics to do it. That's a more secure way of having packages delivered to your house. So my uncle's like, look, man, the only thing good about this building is the quarters. Everything else about this building is not great. And plus, that was the place that had really had bad reviews that my friend had sent me the link for. And so we ultimately said, you know what, we're not going to apply for this one, even though it was my favorite. It was too many different things wrong with that place that my uncle was able to pick up on. And I trust his instinct. So we went with the other place. We were going to apply for the other place that ultimately everybody, you know, the tiny bathroom place, the one room that I like on the 5th floor. We applied for that. We were attempted to apply for that, and then it found out last minute as we were setting up the account to apply, after we had gotten home, got back to Inglewood, and it turns out that they were going to dock anybody who had evictions. It was in the paperwork as you're about to apply. Hey, if you have evictions, we're not gonna take your application, but we will take your money for your application, which is $200 to apply. So it was one of those situations where we're trying to do the application at like 5:30, see all that information, had issues trying to log into the thing, password issues. They locked us out for 30 minutes. That 30 minutes was crucial because then, as we found out that information, we wanted to call those people and say, hey, remember us? We got a little bit of a snag. Maybe you would be willing to work with us. They closed at 6 o'clock. It was 6:11. We wanted to make that call. So tomorrow morning, we're going to try calling them again around 9 o'clock as they open and see if they'll work with us, see if they remember us, because we really hit it off with the lady, and see if she'll work with us. You know what I mean? Because my uncle's going to take care of everything. Everything would be on his dime, on his credit. But the problem was, if the person he's paying for has an eviction within their lettering, they don't want to let him do it. Because you know, a person could, even though someone's paying for all of that, I could have issues that make it so that you don't want to lend to me, which is the logic there. And they know it's not on my dime, they know it's not my credit, but I'm the guy living there. So if you have eviction, obviously somebody didn't want you somewhere. Why the hell we want to let you in here even though somebody else is paying for you? But given the fact that we hit it off with her, maybe she would see us as decent human beings, hear our story out, and maybe work with us, or make it so that maybe we can put an extra cherry on top and she'll let me rent it out. So that's what we're hopeful we'll do. But it is in the letter of the law that even if he's, I don't remember exactly the word. I don't know what the word was. I've never seen that word before. Grandier. I don't know what the word is. But even if somebody else is fully paying for it, the person that's in there, according to with their company guidelines, must not have had previous rental issues or previous convictions on felonies. I don't have no felonies, but I definitely had the rental issue. So that could really get in the way of us being able to ultimately apply in this place that we both agreed to get me into. I don't personally find myself too unhappy because, like I said, I didn't really want a smaller unit. I didn't particularly want to move out of where I'm at unless I'm getting something I look forward to. That's what I was telling you and complaining about this morning. But ultimately, I landed on it, man. There was a lot of good things about that building that I think ultimately was worth, even for me, to deal with the smaller quarters or whatever. So, yeah, man, that was a little bit of a snag, or a big snag in what it is we're trying to do. But ultimately, today, sequentially, went way better than I expected it to go. things just kind of lined up to where I was able to find all of these different places within like a 15-minute radius of one another. So wherever all of our appointments, with the exception of the first one, we were able to get to significantly early. And it's in the neighborhood I grew up in. All of these areas that we were in today were my neighborhood, basically, all of them. So I felt pretty good about that. I'm confident that we can find something. I don't know if these people will into me or not, any of them will, but I was happy with how the day went. And so that's really what it was, man. It turned out pretty good for the most part. And then at the end of the day, I was able to finally visit with my aunt and her family, my uncle's wife. Sat down with them, laughed a little bit. Hung out with my uncle a lot today, man. In these last couple of days, we spent a lot of time together and got a chance to know him a little bit better. And he was able to give me some pointers on some of the history, talked a little bit about my grandfather, that kind of thing. So it was a good day, man. Really good day for bonding with the fam. And I hope he didn't feel like we wasted our time. I certainly didn't. I hope he don't feel like I feel let down because we couldn't get a spot. I certainly didn't. So it was a lot of things that lined up the way I prayed it would. And at the end of the day, like I said, I don't really want to just be moving to be moving. If I can't get what I want, I don't particularly find myself interested in just moving on from where my circumstance, even though it don't seem ideal. I've been cool with it for 2 years, so it's not like I'm unhappy with it. I could be happier, but you know, the way I looked at it is like when we first met that lady that wasn't too warm to us. My thinking was, if I got to deal with this woman every month, why am I leaving the studio lodge? Like, I'm around people I like being around every day at the studio lodge, for better or worse. I don't want to deal with this lady that don't particularly like us for our skin color or whatever the hell her issues were. Like, I'm not interested in that. I'm around people I like being around, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm gonna be moving on, the quality of surroundings, it gotta be better than where I'm leaving. That's a big part of it, man. I'm leaving people I'm cool with. I'm leaving friends, basically, or good acquaintances, if not friends. People I like seeing every damn day. So it's like, why am I deal with this lady who don't halfway like me, man? You know what I mean? So that was my thinking, man. So it's just like, for all we were trying to accomplish, it went the way I was hoping it would. It really did, low key. I didn't really want to move this week, but it is what it is, man. I definitely do need my own spot. I do need to get out of this place, but not just to be moving, you know what I mean? And you know, I didn't get that feeling that I told y'all about, man, when you know you have reached some place that you're supposed to be at. I didn't have that vibe about this today. I didn't feel any of that in any of them rooms. I didn't think this was where the Lord was bringing me at all. I think this was more about exhausting every opportunity to see what's available, to learn what our options are, to get closer to my uncle, to give him the opportunity to feel like he's doing everything he can to get me out of there in this trip. And that's what it was all about, exhausting all of those things to the fullest, so that he's satisfied with the effort and the way they went, and his effort in trying to get it done, and then I'm satisfied in landing where I want to live. So ultimately, I think everything worked out, because I wanted to go back here tonight. You know, I didn't really want to live in a small room with, you know, the great amenities, or with the mean lady, or whatever the heck, or even the other room that I thought was pretty cool, but I was kind of lacking in some of the security measures, and didn't particularly have a laundry room, had bad ratings. You know what I mean? My favorite place had terrible ratings, so like, that's probably not the spot either. And the funny thing is, when I talked to my homegirl B about it, and I told her that I had set up an appointment, she was like, I thought you said it had bad ratings. I was like, it did, but I wanted to check it out anyway. She was like, nah. If I would have read the ratings out, if I would have read the reviews on that place, I would have told you not to check it out. Don't go see something on my behalf just because if you know it got bad ratings. I didn't read the ratings. If I would have, I wouldn't have sent it. So I was like, that was reassuring as well, because I didn't want her to feel like I didn't appreciate her sending me the link. That was one of the reasons why I checked it out. But yeah, that was cool there too. So all in all, man, I thought this was about as good as it could go. Like I said, I told God, man, if you got somewhere for me, man, I'm not gonna leave. I mean, I'm not gonna hold back from what you want to do. You know what I mean? But if all things remain equal, I think I'm doing well right now. And like I said, I like where I'm at. I like the setup for now. I would love to move on from it when I'm ready to move on from it. I don't want to wait till I'm exhausted of it to move on from it. But it's not like I'm looking to just hurry up and get the hell out of there. That's why I was telling y'all this morning. It ain't that serious to me. It's serious, given the circumstances being unstable. But it's not serious in the sense that I've been in this unstable circumstance for 2 years, and the Lord has been carrying me straight through it, and I've learned to appreciate a lot about it. But it was good to see that what else is out there, and to be reminded that there are people who are rooting for me to move on from where I'm at in my circumstance. And you know, they don't see how well it is in my life these days. So for all they know, it's not a good circumstance. So that's really what the main thing is. I felt very privileged for my uncle being there for me in this fashion. It's rare that people even are willing. You know, I was listening to Tyler Perry and a few other people who were on a panel, and they were talking about how they didn't want to give their family nothing, even if they, you know, because they didn't want to spoil their family. And I just appreciate that I have an uncle who's, I ain't saying spoil me, but his understanding of my situation is very clear, and he's not asking me to do more than I'm able to do right now. And I think in some cases a lot of people would, rightfully so to a degree, but you know, specifically this is good to be understood in your own family, and people not still holding what you need to help you get through whatever you're going through. And that's really what I'm very thankful for, man. I could be in a much worse situation with those type of circumstances. With an uncle like Tyler Perry with $1 billion who ain't giving me $1. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. And I feel for people who are going through that if they're seriously in a bad space. And I would tell a guy like Tyler Perry, make sure your family member is not in a seriously bad space. Because a lot of times you think you're helping your family member by letting them fend for themselves. But really, they may not make it if you don't help them out. And so that's a real thing, man. That's a real thing. I think it works for some, it don't work for all. And if you think it works for all and you do that to all, you're gonna hurt some. So that's what I would say about that. One size does not fit all as it pertains to helping people out. Some people you help, they become weaker. Some people you help, they become stronger. And so that's just what I think, and that's what I know. But yeah, man, it is what it is. After that, I was able to, like I said, meet up with my aunt and her family, see them, let them know that I care about them, praying for them, and sit down, have some good conversations with one of my cousins over there, whom I only see like every Christmas, that kind of thing. So that was really cool. And that was it, man. We stopped at Jersey Mike's, got something to eat a little earlier before one of the meetings, and stopped at Vaughn's as well, did some things there too. So, you know, we just had a full day, man. Hit the freeway. Didn't get lost, but it was a lot of traffic, you know, getting back to Inglewood. And you know, I was kind of leaning to my uncle, trying to tell him, like, I don't really want to miss out on an opportunity to see my aunt, but it was already like 6:10, and it takes like 2 hours to get home on the train, man. So can we make that brief? Like, I was trying to say that without saying that, like, because it really do take a long time to get home. It's like 9-something now, and I'm still not home. So, like, that's a real thing. But you know, just the same, I know I don't see him every day, obviously, so it'd be wise to just bite the bullet and let it be, you know what I mean? Seize opportunities to hang out with him and bond with him and let him know who it is he's been helping, man. You know, that's a real thing. But it's been a good couple of days, man. I prayed a lot about it, felt a lot of anxiety about it. Of course, I vented to you guys this morning about how frustrated I was about how that was going, but God worked it out like he always do, man. And a lot of prayers were prayed for the betterment of not only myself but others in the situation. And I think we all walk away from it feeling pretty good. I think we all do. So I thank my uncle for putting up with me. I thank God for making things line up in an abnormally smooth way, especially as it pertains to getting to church on time on Sunday, and then from there having all that stuff sequenced the way that it did today. Both of those things were not likely to happen without God. I can tell you, if I would have did those things without praying, it wouldn't have executed as well as it did. I know it. I'm certain of it. It was all God. Some of that stuff fell into place in ways that they had nothing to do with my strategy. And I can tell you that the truth is prayer works. So, yeah, man, what else, man? It was a much smoother train ride home, even though I did have a lady that literally did not take her eyes off of me. And it wasn't in a very, like, attractive way. It was in a I don't trust you black man way. Very uncomfortable stuff. To have somebody looking at you out of their side eye from in front of you, but their head never actually turned like this because they're constantly looking at you the whole damn way. It was extremely uncomfortable. But that's part of this. It comes with the skin, you know what I mean? She's a European white lady. She had a little kid with her, and she didn't trust the black guy she happened to sit in front of. And my thinking was, if you're this paranoid, why the hell did you sit in front of me? Because I sat down first. We came in at the same time. I sat behind you, and then you sat down in front of me and proceeded to surveillance me the whole time. Why don't your ass sit somewhere else? And so it got to a point where it's just like, yo, do I have to say something to this person? Because she's really making me uncomfortable. But I eventually just dealt with it. She eventually got off the train, and you never actually know what's going through someone's brain. But, man, that was not a comfortable feeling at all. She was not American, though. She didn't speak a lick of English. She was from somewhere in Europe. Older white lady. Not nobody I'm looking at. You know what I mean? Whatever she was thinking, I wasn't interested. I'll give you that much. But, yeah, man, these are just experiences, man. I tell y'all, man, being a black person, we have experiences I don't know that everybody has. I'm sure some brown people had these experiences as well, but it gets weird, man. People really don't. I don't think people realize that the lies they tell about you should not be believed. It's the same thing I said in my video yesterday. Y'all be telling, y'all meaning whoever it is, not specifically anybody on the other end of this camera, but y'all be lying about people and then believing them lies. Don't lie about people and then forget that you're lying. That's what I want to say about that. Because that's what happens when people push out propaganda, racist propaganda. Black people this, black people that, brown people this, brown people that. Don't forget that those are lies that you tell, so that you can make it so that people are separated amongst one another. Because ain't none of that stuff actually backed up by too much damn truth. Not too much of it. To where every black person you sit in front of, you need to keep your eye on them at all times, because if you don't, they're going to slit your throat or some weird shit. That is a lie that you told. White supremacy. Just being honest. Y'all painted us out to be these horrible human beings, and y'all walk around like we actually that. No, you're that. Remember? You're the ones stealing land. You're the ones genociding people and shit. No, that's not us. That's the lie you tell about us. You only fear us because you do bad shit to us. That you ultimately have to look over your shoulder at us because of all the horrible stuff you've done to us, not knowing when we're going to come back and bite you for doing those things. Had you never done those things, you would never have to worry about us. But you forget that in the presence of you lying about us. So yeah, that's a real thing that I'm really tired of in this life. One thing I'm not gonna miss about life when I'm dead is how I'm treated as a black person by white people. And some Asian people and some Mexican people and anybody else that believes this propaganda about black people, man. Even some black people treat us crazy. Don't rule it out. Especially when they're surrounded by white people they're trying to impress. Like old dude. He was an embarrassment. Talk about an embarrassment? That was an absolute embarrassment. Like, damn, bro, you trying that hard to impress this woman, huh? It's crazy. And she ain't even thinking about you like that. She was nicer to us than you were. When it all said and done. But that's another reason why I didn't want to live in that building. Because if I had to see that dude every day, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like him. Like, we got off to a wrong foot. And he went in passive-aggressive embarrassments. You know, disrespectful type dudes. Definitely not somebody I ever want to see again. So that was another reason why I didn't really want to land in that room, that building, because of him. And so I'm not going to be upset when they turn me away tomorrow, because that's pretty much what I expect them to do. I'm going to be just fine with that, low-key. I think my uncle liked that place a little more than I did. And it's because I ain't really messed with some of that that was going on there. But the lady who gave us the tour was cool. I enjoyed her presence. Her energy was really genuine. And that's really what I had to say about that. So, yeah, man. A lot of experiences. I learned a lot today listening to my uncle. I think he learned about me and how I operate over these last 3 days. I think he was kind of surprised at how smooth certain things went. I don't think he was expecting things to go as smoothly as they did. Me being on time, when we went shopping, we didn't spend no time in there buying stuff and looking for stuff that we had no business looking for. I operate in a very systematic way, and he's not been around me enough to know that. That's really what it comes down to. Like, I'm more of a Deloney than my mother probably painted me out to be growing up. So now when he's running around with me and he's expecting me to be all over the place, I'm like, no, I'm getting this, and we out. Because that's how I operate. I'm getting there on time, and I know how to manage my time very well because that comes naturally to me. And so he was kind of shocked. He was like, man, you got the skills to be a program manager. That's what he was saying. He was like, what you organized today was essentially basic program management skills. I didn't know what a program manager was. He explained to me what a program manager was, and then proceeded to tell me that my grandfather was a program manager. I didn't even know that. He's like, yeah, he was a program manager in the Air Force until they reassigned him, this and that. And I'm like, these are things I didn't even know. But that would explain why I was able to organize certain things, because I got it naturally from my grandfather. So all the different things that we lined up today, sequentially and aligned with the timing and all of that, and was able to do it last minute. I think he was kind of impressed that I was able to pull that off. And so I was pretty pleased with him learning about me and how I operate, and just understanding, like, man, I'm even though I'm not military, I'm still like aligned with some military principles as it pertains to being on time, being a stickler for precision and organized and stuff like that. Even though I don't consider myself organized, when I'm forced to be organized, apparently I can pull it off. So it was cool seeing him react to me getting that right today and on Sunday. So yeah, man, that's really what it is, man. I had a good day. Had a good couple of days, man. I prayed a lot about it too. I don't think it goes as well if I didn't pray. And that's what it is to say about that. But I think there are probably some other things I talk about. I still haven't eaten for the night, so I still gotta cook. It's like 10 at night. I'm probably not gonna eat till almost 10:30. And I'm really tired because I woke up at like literally probably like 5:30, something like that. I pulled out of bed at about probably 6 maybe, I don't remember, but I was up by 5:30 for certain. So yeah, it's gonna be a long night, but I'm still gonna make sure I make the most of it. And you know, the uncle week, couple of days was very successful. I had anxiety about it, as I told my buddy who works at where I live here, and as I told all of you guys. My uncle's great. I love being around my uncle. He ain't the problem. It's me and being thrown out of my routine, and then having expectations upon my performance and things that ultimately makes me very uncomfortable. The fact that it was, you know, the idea was to move me on from where I'm at, and then I'm not ready to move on, made me uncomfortable. So it created an anxious environment for my brain. But when I look at how it all played out, it was exactly what I prayed for. And I could not feel more confident that prayer works after these last 3 days. And so my uncle will be hearing from me tomorrow morning, and then he'll be headed back home to the East Coast. I know he plans on coming back out here for Christmas. Definitely looking forward to seeing him on Christmas, maybe before that if he happens to make his way out here. I know my aunt will, but I don't think he has an intention to come out here before Christmas. So we'll reconvene on Christmas, watch the Christmas Day Laker game at his crib. All things, you know, remain equal. Hopefully everybody will be okay, because like I said, my aunt's family's got some health issues in multiple people right now. So they definitely deserve your prayers. And it was good seeing all of them today. Those are some really good folks over there. I'm very fortunate my uncle married into a fantastic family with the Wooders. They've always been great, and I'm afforded that. I can say that for myself. When you look at all 4 corners of my family, you're gonna see a lot of good people. That's what I can honestly say. I do not come from people that suck. I genuinely don't. You find 1 or 2. I ain't gonna tell you who they are, because that's cold. But there's like one or two bad people out of the whole 4 corners of my family. You might find a few people that, yeah, you probably want to stay away from. But none of the people that I ultimately come from were ever awful people, man. None of them. None of them. I've come from prayerful people, kind people, hardworking people, fair people, all 4 corners. And that's not something that I think most people can really say, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I'm lucky. I'm extremely blessed to come from good people all over the place in my families. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. My name's Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching.